Hello, my name is Ian Tajali, and I will be discussing the ethics behind performance enhancement drugs in the world of sports. So, the problem with using PEDs. There is a big problem with the use of performance enhancement drugs, also known as PEDs, in sports. Taking these drugs in sports enhance an athlete's ability to the point of having an unfair advantage over their opponents, making it immoral and unethical. Not only does this cause cheating, but there are also many medical problems that can occur from taking these drugs, negatively impacting an athlete's health. It increases the chance of liver cancer, and it can cause heavy and emotional and psychological problems, also known as roid rage or steroid rage. And this kind of ends up corrupting the whole balance between sporting events and athletes, breaking the common ground, because for athletes and in sports, it's kind of like a known rule that it's going to be a fair, even match, the saying, win fair, win square. So from my group's perspectives, Gavin is going to talk about the economic effects of the performance enhancement drugs in sports, while Maximo is going to talk about how the PEDs are impairing the health of users. And obviously, I think both the economic and health problems are valid issues that come from PEDs, but I feel like the main focus that comes from PEDs is the issue of the ethics behind it, making it the right or wrong decision on your conscience. So the local problem. Performance enhancement drugs is a widespread problem. We see it here in the United States all the time. The use of PEDs, it ranges from the infamous cyclist, Lance Armstrong, to the American Olympic sprinter, Justin Gatlin. And in addition, the MLB is notorious for having these performance enhancement drugs. There has been over 142 suspensions for various athletes using these different types of performance enhancement drugs to gain advantage over their athletes. Some of the effects will make them stronger, be able to bulk faster, so they're able to hit the ball faster and stronger and sprint to the bases faster. Prime example is Alex Rodriguez. He's a legend. He was an all-star, but he was suspended during the 2014 season for evidence of him admitting he took testosterone and human growth hormone, which suspended him for 211 games, ruining his career and his reputation. The global problem. So the problem obviously is not just confined to the United States. In 2002, British sprinter Dwayne Chambers, he was banned for 2 years after he admitted using a THG, which increases muscle bulk and muscle strength. Sprinting, obviously it's short distance, you need the larger muscles to take off faster and keep going. Unfair advantages. In addition, 2012, 14, and 2016, the entire Russian team was said to avoid the doping suspicions, and they were considered to be pretty much cheating the system and subverting and manipulating the anti-doping system by getting away with using these drugs. This just created a very unfair environment, which led to Russia or any other country that does this obtaining gold medals and glory and kind of bragging rights that they don't deserve to receive because they cheated and they didn't win it fairly, like how all the other countries are doing it. So this is the local solution is in the United States. There's a United States anti-doping agency, and their purpose is to enhance the testing capabilities to try and identify when people are using these drugs, and also extend research to doping and the legal use of PEDs. Is it illegal to use PEDs in the United States? And the USADA is trying to educate upcoming athletes and inspire them to become clean and fair in their sports. They do this by celebrating the athletes who are very successful, the top in their sports, and celebrating them and making them an advocate on their behalf to show the world that you don't need to use these drugs to become successful, top-tier athletes. Global solution. In France, there have been many stiffened anti-doping laws. Riders in the Tour de France can face jail time if they're caught, and as well as a fine. Obviously doping is not just consisted of adults. Minors can use it too. So anyone who supplies a minor will face 5 to 7 years in prison, as well as a fine. And the World Anti-Doping Agency, similar to the United States one, they brainstorm ideas to prevent PED use. And if you get caught using PEDs, you must go through a strict process that implies a 6-month written notice So you need to wait until you can start getting back and competing in international sport. So this is my innovative solution, and my solution is pretty much to install commercials that show negative health effects of PEDs, like how the smoking commercials or cancer commercials do, and make more awareness in public service announcements to show how many people have died and the negative effects that do come from using these illegal drugs in sports. You know, another option is actually kind of legalizing these drugs, and since people are going to be using them and finding out ways to use them anyways, but imposing extremely high taxes on the production and even higher tariffs on the imports. So yes, maybe the rich of the rich can still get them, but that would be easier to crack down on and very, very much limit the amount of use as what it is now. This is my works cited.